Namaste. I'm Kirsty from Down to Earth Yoga and Massage, and I'm doing the Sunday Slowdown Yoga class for Trash Panda this week. So this one we are going to be pretty much sort of floor based. If you have a yoga bolster, have it handy. If you don't stress, just grab a couple of your big bed pillows again, or like a rolled up blanket just to have nearby. You might not need one or want to use one. There'll be options for you. So we're just going to start in our comfortable seated pose. So I've got my blanket underneath my bum, so just to allow the sitting bones to root down, just to allow my hips to be a little bit higher. And then I'm just going to release some tension in the body, some little movements. So do whatever feels good for you. Maybe just stretching the neck. And then you want to try to get the body like this nice line. So our spine lining up all the way. And our neck is an extension of the spine, so try and keep that in a nice line also. And then tuck the chin, so have this double chin, don't worry about that. And then we're just going to bring our hands to rest on our knees. We're going to connect our thumb and index finger into consciousness mudra. Extend the 3 fingers out and just let the elbows sort of tuck in towards the body. And we're going to slow down. Try to let go of our week so far. So just going through each day. Maybe some issues you've had, just trying to let them pass, let them go. Maybe some disputes you've had with colleagues, family or friends, just letting them go. And then arriving here on your mat, this present moment. So where you need to be right now. We're just going to try to clear the chatter of the mind, the chitti vitra, the chattering of a million voices. So letting them all pass. And ground down, feel the energy start to rise from the root to the crown of the head. Try to relax your muscles, your bones, your joints, your skin. And we're going to start to just bring in all the sounds that are in the room that you're in just now. So just actively listening. Bringing in the sounds that you hear. Maybe the hum of your heating. Little clicks. Maybe your clock. If you've got music on. And then start to bring in the sounds from other rooms in your house. Maybe you hear your family members, your pets. And then bringing in the sounds from outside the building, the house, your home. Maybe you hear traffic or people walking past. Maybe the weather. So we're bringing in all these sounds, but we're not honing in on one particular sound. Everything is just background. So actively listening, but not focusing on one thing. So if we've acknowledged them now, we're going to try not to allow them to distract us as we practice. We're going to try and clear that chatter. And just bringing the hands to the heart center into Namaste. Start to connect the energy between the hands. Drop the shoulders back. And start to use your yoga breath now. So we've been working on this for a few weeks, but if you are just new this evening, taking the first big deep inhale breath, and as you do so, the belly will come out like Buddha, and then on the exhale, draw the navel back towards the spine. So we're trying to get the rib cage to expand in all directions. The inhale breath, getting the lungs to fill up all the way to the clavicles. And then on the exhale, sort of like a cascade, just letting go, releasing every last stale drop of air out. So we're going to continue like this. We're going to draw our thumbs to our third eye in between the eyebrows. And we're going to start to use some warm and ujjayi breath if we can. So starting to hear the waves around you. You can partially close the epiglottis at the back of the throat and start to hear that snoring sound like the waves. And then taking a big reach for the sky all the way up. Bring the gaze up to the sky, and then you're just going to take a little twist round to the right. So checking in how your spine is feeling this evening. And then take your big reach for the sky once again. Draw the energy up, gaze up. Exhale round to the left. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then rise all the way up to the sky. Exhale back to the heart again. So we're just going to give our shoulders a little bit of a release. So just going to bring the hands onto the shoulders and just little circles back the way. And then going forward, noticing if they are starting to crunch up towards the ears. And then just shrug them up, let the hands go down, and exhale, let them drop. So inhale up, exhale down. Inhale again, exhale down. So one hand onto the heart, one hand onto the belly. Try to connect back. So we're making a union, the mind, the body and the breath all connecting together. So inhale, you might feel that belly push the hand out, and then on the exhale it draws back in. And we're going to set ourselves an intention for our yoga practice. So bringing in a positive intention for you tonight. With every exhale, try to let go of things that do not serve you. And then just release the hands, bring them down to the earth, lean back, and then just let your legs come out to release from whichever posture you sat in. And then just release a little windscreen wiper with the legs. So as I said, we're going to try and stay quite low to the floor today. We're going to hold some of the postures for a few moments. We're going to work a little bit into the hips. So my hips are feeling pretty tight this evening. If we spend a lot of time sitting on our sofas or our desks, if you're working from home, you might feel that tension. So we're going to try to release some of this tension in the muscle fascia. So we're going to roll over and come onto tabletop position just to warm your joints a little. So if your knees are feeling a little bit sore, or you have like a hard floor like I have, just grab a little bit of padding and then start to come over onto all fours, spread the fingers, toenails to the earth, push the earth away. And then take a big inhale, start to round here, bring the gaze up to the sky, and then round chin to chest, arching up. So inhale fully, exhale completely. Inhale Paraka, it's our Sanskrit word. Exhale Rachaka, so this is our exhale breath. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. And then come into neutral. We're just going to start to rise up to a downward facing dog. So this will just be as high as we're going tonight. And it's not you're going to be your picture perfect one. Nice relaxed one, bending the knees, just getting a little bit of energy flowing through the legs. Maybe nodding the head. And then just drop the knees to the earth. So we're going to be coming into a lizard pose. So I'll do it the other way around just so that you can see the right side first. Now with lizard, we're going to be holding for a few breaths. So if you need props, I can't get down to my elbows. I'm still quite tight. So you grab some pillows or a bolster and you can put it at the top of your mat. So from your tabletop position, you're going to bring your right foot towards your hands. So spread the fingers. Now your back knee, if you want, you can walk it back a little so you can feel that more into the back leg. You can release the toes, or if you want to work into the bones and joints in the toes, you can have that. So if the back knee needs extra padding, just draw your blanket back. So I want mine's a little bit further back. So you need to fiddle about to find your perfect position. So right foot to the outside of the right hand, deciding if you're wanting the back toes down or up. And then you can decide if you're keeping the foot straight, or if you want, you can pivot the foot on the heel and then open the knee. So you can stay here. We're going to stay for a few moments. Some of you will be able to come down to the earth. So I find that quite strong. So I'm going to stay up. You can use your fists also, so you decide for you. I'm just going to check the time for staying. Okay, so we're going to try and close our eyes, whichever position you've chosen. I don't want you to sort of look back towards the back leg. Try and stay with a nice sort of steady gaze to one point in front of your nose. Or just closing the eyes, taking the gaze inwards. If it feels too intense, if you've got the back toes tucked, release them. But having the toes tucked in these postures really helps you to get into the bones and the joints here. Especially in this cold, cold weather. Having our feet stuck in boots when we're out walking. Having them trapped, so allowing them to release and bend. So finding that nice warm breath to stay. So you can be down in the earth, your elbows can come down to the earth, remember. I'm staying up because I find that a little bit more bearable, comfortable for my body. Your hips might be more open than mine. This might be one of your favourite postures. For me, it is not. And so I have to try to let go of those little voices. The voices that tell you to leave the posture. Get out when the going's good. And it is good, so all the benefits, opening up the joints, allowing the body to get that fresh oxygenated blood flowing, lubricating the body. So we're just going to stay for another 6 breaths. If too intense, you release early. Take another 2. And the last one. So if you were down, rise up, and then you're just going to walk up slowly. You might want to release the back toes if you had them, and then you're going to walk the foot back. So you may wish just to rest it out, or you might want to go back to that downward facing dog and do like a little bit of a wiggle to release. So I'm preferring to come down to the earth and just rest it out. So you decide. And if you struggle to get your bum to touch the heels, remember, feel free to use a little prop for your head. So you can have the forehead on a cushion. And just rest here, allowing the big toes to kiss. The heels display open. Rest in the joints. Take another few breaths to restore. then slowly start to rise your way up. So we're going to come into the next one. So in like a yang class, it's called Pigeon. I'm in a more sort of restorative or yin class. We may call it Swan or Sleeping Swan. It's whatever you want to call it, really. You could call it excruciating. It is up to you. It depends if you enjoy the posture or not. So we're going to keep with the right side, first of all. Again, I need props. You might not. So I'm going to be keeping this blanket to the side to help me when we come into the posture. I'm going to keep my bolster at the front. So you might have your pillows. Okay, so we're going to go back to that downward facing dog position. So just spreading the fingers, gaze to the belly button and rise up. So we're going to take the right leg up to the sky, and then we're going to open up the hip. We're going to draw a little circle in the sky with the knee, one way, then the other. You're going to look to the front and you're going to send your right knee towards the right hand. So the foot's going to come to the opposite side of your mat. And eventually some people will have their leg nice and straight. For me, that's never happened yet. As I said, these aren't my favourite postures, but these are ones that I need to work on. And that's why they're probably my least favourite. So your foot's the opposite side. You want to walk this back foot back a little. You can look behind you. Oh, Buddha's getting a kick again. So making sure the legs are semi-straight. So you can see I've got a big gap here. So this is where I'm going to pad. I'm going to pad my padding. Put in a little blanket here. You're going to push the heart open. And we're going to come down to the earth only if this is good for you. So you can have your pillows, your bolster. You're just going to come down and rest. So just check times again. You can have your head facing the side. You might want to stay upright, but we're going to stay for a few moments. So this is when your visualization tools that we practice throughout the week can help. And with the eyes closed, maybe you start to bring in all those little sounds around you. Maybe you notice the sound of your heater. And maybe it's sort of like a little mantra, like a hum in the background. So these little noises you hear, rather than being distractions, think of them like little mantras. And then do a little scan of your body. Are you holding tension in a part? So often when I come into this pose, I'll tense my buttocks or the back leg, or I'll screw my face up, sort of wishing the posture was over. So see if there's a way that you can relax into this. So that might mean rather than going down, staying upright. So your body might not be in that place just yet. So your version of this. I can remember being with a friend once and she found it odd that I couldn't or didn't go into full lotus. And it's not about what you can't do. It's just about listening to your body, how it feels that exact moment. Giving your body some love, being kind to it. So don't go by what other people look like in the posture. If you are following anybody on Instagram, or you know that your friend can do the posture and their legs straight, or they can go flat to the earth, where can you get to tonight that is semi-comfortable? So we're just going to stay for those 6 breaths. Try not to rush through them to get out of the posture. Take those 3 now. Take that last one. If you were down, start to rise. And then you can start to sort of wiggle out of it. So I like to sort of wiggle, move the back foot. We can release that right leg carefully. Take away the props, and then you might want to come into downward dog and just take some movement. Or you can sort of give your leg a little tap to release any of the stagnant energy. Get the blood flowing again, give it a little bit of self-massage. And then we're going to just rest it out in child's pose. So you might want the knees to be nice and wide. You can use your prop again to let your head rest. Or maybe this time you bring your props a little bit closer towards the groin. And then just rest down one ear onto the bolster or pillows. So just enjoy the peace. And remember, as I said, just bringing in all the little noises. Just take another few restorative breaths. Slowly start to rise up. Just give your shoulders a little release. Maybe take a little twist to the right, a little twist to the left. And then we're going to do the same on the left side. So I'm just going to switch round so you can sort of see the left side a little bit easier. And we will start with that horrible lizard pose. So you will hopefully feel the difference once you've done both sides. You might notice you're sort of obviously feeling a bit lopsided to start with just now. So we're going to come from that tabletop position, and you're going to just start to bring, however you can, you might need to bring it through with your hand, the left foot to the outside. So if you know you need some padding underneath the back knee, take that. If you want a little extra, you're going to walk the leg back a little bit more. Remember, you can keep the toes tucked. If you've done it one side, try to do the same again. And then you're going to decide if you want to keep the left heel where it is and pivot the foot off the mat, and then you can push the knee open slightly. So those who can are going to bring the elbows down to the earth or onto your prop. If you've got wrist injuries, you might stay up and go onto the fists. And we're not going to look to our belly button or the back leg. You're going to keep that head in that neutral position. We find our stillness. So normally this is my tighter side, but I feel that tonight that this one is easier than the right. And it could be because the right has said to my brain, this is what's happening, you can do this. It's definitely feeling much better for some reason. You might come in this side and it's a lot harder, stiffer. You might have to really work on trying to clear that chatter. That little voice maybe shouting to leave, to leave, to leave. See if you can soften the brow and relax the jaw. Let the tongue find the soft spot, the roof of the mouth. Breathe into any of the spaces that you're feeling the tension. So if you can, try to stay for another moment, roughly 8 breaths. Taking the last 2. Exhale, releasing. So slowly rise up if you were down. Release maybe the back toes. Start to wake up that left leg. And again, you might want to take a little bit of movement, prancing dog, or you may wish just to rest it down. So slowly starting to rise back up, roll the shoulders, just checking again if you're creeping that tension up. So we're going to be coming into our pigeon again, so having something handy just in case you do need to pad the body, you might not have to. And again, one side might be a lot more open, so having bolster, pillows, blankets, anything you require nearby. Release the wrists. Start to prepare to come up to downward facing dog. So spread the fingers, gaze to the belly button, rise your way up. Then extend the left leg to the sky. Open up the hip into split dog. And then gaze to the front, bring that knee towards that left hand, and then bring the foot across the mat. So as we get ourselves into our position, just walk back with that back leg. So do a little glance back, just checking the legs sort of semi-straight. So this little gap here, if you have one, putting it here, so you want the hips sort of level. So you've got the heart open. And then yogi's choice, do you want to come down to the earth? So slowly, slowly making your way down either to the earth or to a prop. So finding some stillness. Maybe one day it'll become so comfy you'll be able to fall asleep in the pose. Maybe not. Just do the check if you are clenching. So straight away when I noticed there, I noticed in my left leg that I was squeezing it, trying not to release. So just allowing the next exhale breath to really let go of any part of the body that you're holding the tension. See if you can enjoy, not just endure. So trying to find that comfort and ease with the pose. Sthara Sukham. Try to roll the shoulders back. Take away the tension from the face, the brow, the jaw. Make sure that that left knee is happy. You can leave early at any point. You can rise up if that feels better. Just taking another 6 breaths. Take the last one, so a big inhale, maybe exhale. Slowly start to rise, so padding your way up, tucking the back toe, releasing the leg however you wish. So a lot of people, remember, do want movement. They want some little bits of movement, or you might just want stillness. And like the first time, you might want to bring the bolster or pillows between your knees and just rest down, just making sure that if you had your head turned one way, just turning it the opposite way. Take another 4 breaths. Last one. Slowly, slowly, just rising up, roll the shoulders back and take that little twist to the right. And then taking the twist round to the left. Coming back to centre, roll the shoulders back and down. And then we're going to come on to our bum. So we're going to come over to the earth. We're going to take caterpillar. So we're going to use a pillow or a bolster and put them underneath our knees. So you might have really flexible hamstrings and not need to. But we're trying to really just relax the body into it tonight. So taking a little prop underneath the knees, you're going to release the legs. So you can still put a little prop underneath the bum as well, just to get the sitting bones a little bit more grounded. And if you have lower back issues, you're going to keep the spine straight and come down. If your back feels happy today, you're just going to allow gravity to take over and fold forward. So some of you guys, your spine at the joint, the hinge joints, will be really flexible and your head might come all the way down. Those that have got maybe a little bit of neck issues, I quite like to bring my elbows to the shins, bring my thumbs to the third eye. And this also sort of helps me to find a focus point. So I focus towards the third eye and I bring in the colour or light that appears. So from all the little techniques that you've been learning along the way through your yoga, maybe your meditation, any little tricks that you've learned day to day, find something that's going to help you to find stillness. Breathe into the back, especially that lower back. Allow that rib cage to expand, expand, expand. Maybe bring back the warm ocean breath if it's left you. And if you are struggling to work out how to do it, maybe start with the mouth open and just be like, like you're trying to create a little steam on the mirror. And then bring the lips to touch and see if you can do that. Try and stay for one more moment in caterpillar. Taking 3 more breaths. That last one, a big inhale, exhale. So slowly stroke the arms up the legs, roll the shoulders back, maybe just moving the head side to side to ease the tension. Maybe bring the gaze up to the sky and back. And then just taking the hands behind, so the thumbs and fingers are pointing towards the bum. Just stamping the feet to the earth and just pushing up. So and then gaze into the belly button and then gaze up to the sky. Drop the head back if no neck issues. Slowly coming back up. So we're going to come into Yogic Squat. We're going to use props because we're going to stay there for some time. If you have knee injuries or if you know that Yogic Squat is going to be something that you're going to find a bit too challenging tonight, then instead you're going to sit on the floor and take this position. You can either stay up or you can fold forward. If you're happy to come into Yogic Squat, have a little stack of pillows where your bum will be. So you can have it as high as you wish. If you know that you struggle to get your heels off, heels down to the earth, you could put little pillows underneath your feet also. So we're going to rise up. To start with, you're going to open the feet like a little bit wider. A lot of people, when they come into the pose, they shut it off. It's too narrow, so you want it wider than your hips. And then the heels are in, the feet are sort of turned out in a diagonal here. So we're going to bring the hands to the heart center. Take a big inhale breath, spread the toes, lock the big toe to the earth. And then we're going to start to exhale and slowly come down. So coming down, you might hear little cracks. So you do not need to have a prop, but we are going to stay for a few moments. So we're going to root the big toes to the earth. We're going to push the knees open with the help of the elbows and bring the thumbs to the heart space. So closing the eyes. So straight away, if you've come into this pose and you're thinking, nope, my knees are not happy, it's not for me, take that position I showed you, making that diamond on the floor. So this is Malasana, or garland pose. And this is one that the postures where, for once, it's not one that I hate. It's not one that I have to tell the body to release. For me, this one is okay. Lizard and pigeon, they're hard for me. And that's the thing about yoga, there's so many different postures. Some you love, some you hate, some you find easy, some are hard. And you're going to be different than any other person. So when we do finally get back to classes in person, please use all the little tools you've learned, not to compare yourself to anyone else. And as a teacher, people may think that you should be able to do everything. You should be able to stand on your hands, your head. For me, that's not my yoga. I've never wanted to stand on my hands. It's just never been in my repertoire of poses. Could be yours, but for me, it's not. It's more, for me, I prefer this down-to-earth approach. Postures that everyone can sort of do and adapt. Not having to take that picture perfect pose for Instagram to show everyone. More about how the posture feels rather than how it looks. Using our yoga limbs. Yama. Our first one, ahimsa, non-harming, being kind. So being kind to all your joints. So we're in this last moment now. Maybe you exhale out with an open mouth every exhale. Take your last 3. The last one, a big inhale. Exhale. So just release your prayer first of all and just give your wrists a little bit of a release. So one way, then the other. And then we're just going to take our legs, walk them a little bit further forward, use the hands and wrists to help you scoot off your prop, and then again a little windscreen wiper to release anything that's going on. So we're going to come into our inversion before Shavasana, and we're going to take that lovely waterfall Viparita Karani. So legs can go against your wall if you don't have guitars attached to them. Or if you do have a door. This room doesn't have a door. So you can have your legs up against a solid surface, or you can have them in the air. So you can make your little pillows. You're going to roll the shoulders back. You're going to hold onto the prop, extend the legs, and then you're going to just lie back. And then extend your legs up. So you might want to play about with the spine first of all, give it a little massage. Extend the legs up to the sky. You might want to keep the hands on the lower ribs, seeing if you can get them to expand.
Or you might take that cactus arm, or frame the face, or reach the arms up overhead. But try to tuck the chin. Don't worry about this double chin. If when you were in your lizard pose and your toes felt quite nice after the release, maybe you need a little bit more of that. So you might do your little swivels, releasing. You might try and curl all the toes one by one. You might try and spread them nice and wide. Try and get your yogi toes. Or just find that stillness. Enjoy the warmth. And this is one of the postures that I do enjoy also. I like the nice warm feeling that you get as the blood starts to flow down your leg. And if you've ever had a Thai yoga massage and had a blood stop, it's sort of the opposite feeling. So that way the blood flows down the way. This way the blood flows down the opposite way from your feet down to the groin. Really good for joints. And this one giving our heart that little rest. Helping our endocrine system for hormone regulation. Good for our thread veins, varicose veins if you suffer from them. Heavy legs, water retention. So if it feels too much, remember bend the knees. Your last minute. Take those last 3 breaths. The last one. And then just bend the knees. You might want that little massage again of the lower back. And then you can bring the feet to the earth. You can either push your prop down towards your knees or just roll over to your side. Push to rise yourself up carefully and slowly. So you guys are going to take your Shavasana pose. So this is your restful pose, the last one of practice. So I want you to just lie on your yoga mat. So you might want to get your blankets, your socks and jumpers. If you've got little eye pillows, they're good just to block out any light, or just turning the light off in your room. If don't worry about falling asleep, because I will guide you to come back to in a few moments. But for now, rest. So roll the body back down to the earth. Let the arms be long and wide, and let the legs rest. Try and relax all the joints, all the bones, the skin. Taking one big inhale. Exhale out. Letting the facial muscles relax. Letting the tongue find that soft spot. Letting the eyes drop back. Heavy, heavy, heavy. The heart shining towards the sky.
natural curve in your fingers. Maybe feeling that energy, the prana that you have created this evening. Grounding to the earth and opening to the sky. And just rest now for a few moments in Shavasana. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. Keeping your eyes closed, just start to bring in those sounds once again in the room that you are in just now, in any of the other rooms in your property, and then outside the building, learning to listen. And then just beginning to wiggle the fingers, the toes, windscreen wiper the feet, give the wrists a little circle, move the head safely side to side, keeping the chin tucked. And then slowly, slowly just start to bring your knees in towards you. Maybe give yourself a little hug, a little squeeze. And with a smile on your face, just rolling over to one side, whichever side the body naturally falls to. Take a second, pause. And then use the top hand, push it to the earth, and slowly start to rise your way up. Take your last comfortable seat and try and keep your eyes closed or the gaze low. So rooting down to the earth, roll the shoulders back, heart shining forward, crown of the head grown tall towards the sky. Hands can rest on your knees or in your lap. So we're going to now take our hands to our heart center. We're going to end with our Om, so joining in if you wish or feel comfortable. Taking a big inhale. Om. And as we let the vibration settle, just thanking our body for letting us practice this evening. Allowing the joints to open and release. And making peace with the postures tonight. And then bringing our thumbs to our lips, being grateful for our breath. And learning to speak kind words as we go about each day. And bringing our thumbs to the third eye, being grateful for our minds. So we're learning to think before we speak. It's our practice of listening to the other people. And then when we do speak, asking, is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it true? And then taking a deep, deep inhale, bringing in your intention. And then exhale, letting go of all that does not serve you. Slowly trickle the thumbs back to the heart space, bowing down to seal your practice. A little flicker of the eyes, slowly rising back up. Thank you guys for practicing this evening. I hope you feel pretty chilled, pretty open perhaps at the hips. It can sometimes bring up a lot of emotions because you've held these postures. The hips are sort of classed as your junk drawer. So if you think of your junk drawer at home, like where you toss everything in and you forget about it, it's the same with the hip. So maybe things that have happened to you, you've forgot about, you've just stored them down. When you come into yoga and we work on the hips, sometimes a lot of things can be released. So don't worry if you are experiencing that. It's pretty normal for these emotions to come up. And if you do wish to get in touch and speak with me, get in touch through Instagram or email. Thank you so much for practicing.